The controllers featured in today's video were provided courtesy of Retrobit. Today we are taking a look at the latest additions to Retrobit's 2.4 GHz controller lineup, the black and white Sega Saturn controllers. Let's dig in. These new 2.4 GHz controllers coincide with the 25th anniversary of the Sega Saturn's North American launch in 1995. Again, I just love the authentic details found on these boxes. They use authentic Sega Saturn marketing, down to even the shiny stuff up here. And what's cool is these controllers do come with two dongles, one for original console and one for USB. And man, I just love how glossy these boxes are. Look at this. Very, very shiny. Very nice. On the back, we get a series of screenshots that show us different aspects of the controller, as well as bullet points talking about what it can do. But yeah, very beautiful box designs. I just absolutely appreciate the authentic 1995 feel that these bring to the table. But let's go ahead and get this sucker open. So I'm going to start with the black controller today. Just pop this seal right here. Maybe get this pull tab out. Alright, there we go. Now we go ahead and pull out the hardcover carrying case. Nothing else in the box. And this thing is absolutely stunning. These are super nice ways to ship these controllers, and pulling this plastic cover off is very, very satisfying. But here we go, the blue hardcover Retrobit I Heart Retro case. I love this right here. I Heart Retro spelled out in Japanese, and it's just a really cool aesthetic touch to this case. Then down in the other corner, we of course have the Retrobit logo. And you can see the Saturn controller inside, and again, these are just so nice. But opening it up, we can get our first glimpse at the black Sega Saturn controller. Now, as I mentioned previously, this does come with a USB dongle, and a Sega Saturn dongle that is used for your real Sega Saturn console, and it is molded exactly like an official first-party connector. It's pretty freaking sweet. So on top there is a sync button, and then on the side is a USB port to update the firmware. Now onto the controller itself. Look at this bad boy. This is really good. It actually has a little plastic cover on top. Shaped like a Saturn controller, the back is a little thicker than traditional wired Saturn controllers just to accommodate the battery pack. Buttons, triggers, both feel really good. They feel pretty much the same as the current 2.4 GHz controllers I already own. I think they feel great to the touch. Good actuation. D-pad feels great. I'm a fan of that. I love Saturn style D-pads. I'm just going to admit that. I've absolutely loved them. Now let's go ahead and pull this plastic piece off here so we can admire the shiny glossiness of this guy. Look at that. Look at that two-tone plastic. You got the rougher exterior followed by the glossy smooth interior. I think that looks absolutely phenomenal. Now, of course, this is glossy, so you are going to see dust and little blemishes a little bit easier, but I mean, blame that on Sega. That's Sega's original design there. But got a home select button added in for use on Switch and PC. I love this controller. Like, Saturn controllers feel so good to me. I think Saturn controllers have become my favorite controllers in the last 2 years. Like, these things just feel so good in a vast variety of different types of games. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this white controller. I'm gonna go ahead and open this one up. Pop open the tab here. This one was a little bit easier to get open, not by much though. And here we have the protective hard shell case inside the box once again. Satisfying. But as you can see, this is the same design. I Heart Retro up in the corner, Retrobit logo, and inside we have the two dongles and the white 2.4 GHz Saturn controller. Man, this thing is beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and get this plastic removed just so we can appreciate it right off the bat. Look at this. That is so clean. Two-tone, once again, rough plastic with this glossy interior. One thing I didn't note on the black controllers is I love how authentic these controllers are, that they still feature the media control buttons for the Saturn CD player. Like, you can still use all of these functions on a real console. It's freaking cool. Shoulder buttons feel great. The buttons on this controller feel great. Ah, just so good. Another little aesthetic touch that I really love that Retrobit paid attention to when designing these is the Sega logo and the Sega Saturn logo on these controllers. In Japan, it just said Sega, but over here in the States, we got the Sega Saturn logo. Really nice attention to detail. I love it. Now, one thing we forgot to check out in the black controller box was underneath it. There we have the USB charging cord to update the Saturn dongle and to charge the controller. Then we have a Retrobit thank you note where it's saying tag them on social media, and then the other side says, thank you for your purchase. Doesn't this make you feel warm and fuzzy inside, getting a nice little thank you note? Then last up we have the 2.4 GHz instruction booklet. It has a couple different languages, French, Spanish, and English. But this is very useful. It shows you all of the button mappings for the different systems that this controller supports, as well as the different macros you can utilize on PC or Switch to change the D-pad into one of the analog sticks or to change it back into D-pad mode, as well as functionality including X input and direct input modes. But before we dive into gameplay, I'm going to ensure that all of my receivers are updated so that way we can make sure to get the best performance possible. So the first thing I'm going to do is head over to retrobit.com, click on their support site here, and then I'm going to go to the controller section. And this is where they have their firmware updates for the receivers and controllers if available. So we have Bluetooth stuff down here, and then here are our 2.4 gigahertz versions. It looks like they haven't been updated since January and October, so we should already be on the latest revisions. But I'm just going to go ahead and download them anyway, just to make sure. And then we'll go ahead and do the same for the Sega Saturn one, just to be sure. Alright, now that the firmware's up to date, I want to just go ahead and test this on my favorite test game, Mega Man X4, on the Sega Saturn here real quick, because I know exactly how this game should feel, and if there's any slight changes to the 2.4 GHz controllers, this will let me know that. Alright, so far so good. Feels just like my current 2.4 GHz Saturn controller. Alright, so I'm just absolutely loving how this controller is feeling to play Mega Man X4. Not a single hitch. Alright, and time to test to make sure that up D-pad inputs aren't misread during this little mini fight here. Easy. Last final test for Mega Man X4 here. Let's just take out this freaking walrus, shall we? Easy. And now for just a quick word on compatibility. The Retrobit 2.4 GHz lines work with both real consoles with the appropriate adapters and a bunch of systems thanks to the USB receiver. With the USB receiver, you can use these controls on the TurboGrafx 16 Mini, as I'm showing here, the Genesis Mini, the Nintendo Switch, PS3, PC, even all the way back down to Windows 98. So these controllers are very versatile and can be used on a lot of things. And if you have an OTG cable, Android as well, I forgot to mention that. So right out of the box, you get a lot of systems that this thing can support as long as the game has the proper inputs for it. You aren't going to want to use this on games that require dual analog sticks because that's just not going to work out too well, despite how good I make Halo look. And that is our look at Retrobit's new 2.4 GHz Saturn controllers in the white and black color schemes. They're built just as well as the original releases, only now they have some rockin' new styles For all of you original Sega Saturn fans, you can finally get the classic black to match your systems, or if you like that Japanese white controller, those are finally available in the States. Let's go! Just as with the currently available Saturn controllers, these guys are going to be nearly lagless. You shouldn't have any perceivable input lag. Performance is great. I tested it with Mega Man X4 on Saturn, Switch, PS3, and it felt great across the board, so you guys should be really happy with these if you haven't managed to snag one yet. If you'd like more in-depth thoughts about these guys, be sure to check out my original 2.4 GHz controller review, where I discuss more in depth about each controller, their strengths, their weaknesses, and you can see me beat them up a little bit. And guess what? They're still working to this day. One thing I would like to note though about that review is that these new Sega Saturn controllers that I have here are working with PS1 games on PS3, whereas the older ones I had do not. I don't know what's different, but it works now. Unfortunately, the home button still doesn't function, but at least you can play the games. But you know what? I think that's enough out of me today. The new colors rock. These controllers themselves also rock. So be sure to check them out. If you need a little extra incentive, be sure to use the discount code Archades over at Castlemania Games. Get yourself a nice 10% discount on these guys. But yeah, that's really going to do it for today. I'm going to get back to playing some Saturn games with these lovely beauties here. And I'm going to let you all get back about your days. So thank you as always for watching today's video. If you liked it, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, hit that sub button as well. Really helps me out to bring more stuff like this to you. If you'd like to further help support the channel, you can also check out that join button here on YouTube or that Patreon link that should be appearing right here-ish about now. As always, I'm just grateful for your consideration, and to all my wonderful champions who have already done so, thank you so much for helping keep this channel going and growing strong. Thank you so very much. But until next time, stay awesome everybody, and we will see you all back next video.